What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns welcoming you to the second installment of my Worst Rides mini-series. That's right, we go over the worst vehicles in each and every category in Grand Theft Auto Online. For example, in Worst Rides 1.0, last week we went over the worst super, sports classics, muscle, and helicopter. This week in Worst Rides 2.0, we're going over the worst coupe, sedan, motorcycle, plane, and utility. And if you're curious about my Best Rides mini-series, it's already up on my Rides playlist on the YouTube channel. And in fact, I got Best Rides 2.0 linked below in the description section, because with each installment of Worst Rides, I'm going over the same exact category that's in the counterpart episode of each mini-series. So for example, Best Rides 2.0 linked below in the description section goes over the best coupes, sedans, motorcycle, plane, and utility. And we're doing quite the opposite today. By the way, special thanks to Delinquent, Jeremy, and a few others off both current gen consoles, so thank you all for your help. You know who you are for making Worst Rides 2.0 happen. Some of you were assisting me in compiling this list for the entire miniseries, and some of you actually helped provide the vehicles that we're going to use in today's installment. And with that out of the way, let's kick things off with the worst coupe, which is this car right here, the Ennis Cognoscenti Cabrero. And I hope I pronounced that correctly, and if I didn't, say la vie. By the way, thanks again to Jeremy. This is actually his ride in his garage. He was kind enough to let me use it for this video. He loves it, and I have nothing personally against any of these vehicles, but when it comes to the Worst Ride series, there has to be a worst. And unfortunately, from looking at the stats and the figures, the numbers, the dollar signs, the look and feel, and personally driving this vehicle, I would have to say that the Ennis Cognoscenti Cabrero is the worst of the coupes, which will, by the way, cost you $185,000 at Legendary. However, there are far better coupes driving around Los Santos that you could just steal and put into your garage. Like, for example, the Sentinels, the Zion Cabrero, and of course, the Oracle, which was the best of the coupes in Best Rides 2.0. Spoiler alert. Even though technically I consider it to be a sedan because it's 4 doors, but Rockstar has it in the coupe category, therefore it's a coupe. So that's pretty much how it goes. By the way, here is a side-by-side comparison of the Oracle versus the Cognoscenti Cabrero. And thanks, Jeremy, for stopping by. I don't know where he went, but anyways, he left his car, so we'll just walk around with my secondary character on the Xbox One, Cynthia, who I haven't played with for a while. So long, in fact, she grew out her hair, which I think works for her. But going back to this vehicle right here, it's just big. I mean, it seems like it's too big to be a coupe, because you look at the Oracle, it's about the same size, maybe slightly smaller, but it's a 4-door. And this car is just a 2-door. So I don't know where the Cognoscenti belongs. Does it belong in the sports category or even the coupe category at all? But the point is, as a coupe, I have to give it the worst rating. And I would highly recommend you keep this car out of your garage. It's not worth $185,000. Sorry, Jeremy. Hopefully he'll get over it. Moving on to the next category, sedan, which will go to the Albany Emperor as the worst in the category, also known as Lamar's Whip. Now, yes, Lamar is cool. He's funny. He's got it all going on. And he's probably the only one who could still be cool driving around in this POS. Now, there's several versions of the Emperor driving around Los Santos, the nicer looking ones, and the rust buckets like these. But it is not a very good sedan. The stats are horrible. There's basically no customization options for this bucket. And the only way that you could get your own Emperor is, well, you get the idea. And that just shows you that Rockstar planned on the Emperor being the worst sedan in my miniseries, because they didn't even bother putting it up on the Southern San Andreas website, and they got a lot of cheap-ass vehicles on there. Sorry, Lamar. I still think the Speedo's tight, though. He'll forgive me after I take him to the Vanilla Unicorn. Moving on to the next category, motorcycles. Now, there's a few motorcycles I could have put at the top of this list when it comes to worst rides, but I'm going with the brand new one, the Electro. Cynthia, that's not a helmet, it's a top hat. Back on topic regarding the Principe Electro, which came with the Heist DLC update. It unlocks upon completion of the Pacific Standard Heist. Now, why is the Electro the worst ride? Well, for one thing, the flipping price tag. $750,000? Are you out of your mind, Rockstar? For one thing, there are several bikes that are stat-wise way better than the Electro. I realize it has the curves, it has that, sudden burst of energy, which only works, by the way, in free mode. It doesn't work anywhere else, so you can't use it in races or missions. The curves only works on the Electro during one of the setup missions, and of course, the Pacific Standard Heist finale. And no, I won't be losing any sleep tonight over putting the Electro on the list as the worst motorcycle. By the way, let me know below in the comment section, what are the worst rides in each category in your opinion? Coupe, sedan, motorcycle. Coming up next, we got plane, and at the end, we will do utility. Speaking of planes, I do love getting in the skies over Los Santos and Blaine County, flying around up in the air. Doesn't matter what it's in, a helicopter, a plane, or a jet. But unfortunately, there are a few planes that aren't very good, that definitely are not worth buying. At the very top of that list is the Miljet. Sorry, Dog Chase. Before this mini-series is over, I'm going to alienate and piss off all my viewers and subscribers. But back to the Miljet. Why is the Miljet on my list? Well, whenever I reviewed it, back in August when it came out with the Flight School update, I was very critical of it back then because stat-wise it sucks. And the only real saving factor of the Miljet, despite the fact it looks like a sexy airplane, it's very nice looking, it can hold up to 16 people. But in all honesty, when are you going to need a jet to hold up to 16 people? Especially when lobbies start going crazy with half that number. Just imagine how bad it gets when 16 gamers are in the same area aboard one vehicle. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. And the main reason why the Miljet is the worst plane in my opinion is the price tag. $1.7 million. No thanks, Rockstar. Personally, I think the Hydra is a better deal at $3 million because at least it has weapons on it. And wrapping up Worst Rides 2.0 is the lawnmower in the utility category. Unfortunately, it doesn't spawn anywhere on the map, and there's very few races now where you can select utility for whatever rhyme or reason. It used to be a lot of fun to do. But if one day you're just in the mood to get on one of these bad boys, mow the lawn, and shoot at some disgruntled neighbors and construction workers, I created a capture a while back with the mower in it called Paper Boys, paying homage to the classic video game of a similar name. And there you have it, Worst Rides 2.0. To go over the list one more time, for Worst Coupe, the Cognoscenti Cabrero; for Sedan, the Albumy Emperor; for motorcycles, the Electro; plane, Miljet; and utility goes to the lawnmower. Feel free and let me know below in the comments section, what are the worst rides in each category in your opinion? Once more, coupe, sedan, motorcycle, plane, and utility. And be sure to tune in next week for Worst Rides 3.0.